look at the charts, okay, graphic analysis of cost, volume, and profit. Okay, so we're going to look at a graph, and here's our data that we're going to be using for this particular graph, that the unit selling price is 50, the variable cost per unit is 30, so our contribution margin per unit is 50 minus 30 is 20, and our total fixed costs are 100,000. So here is our graph, and along our x-axis we have how many units are we selling, and those are in thousands, so 0, 1, 1,000, 2,000, etc. Okay, and along our y-axis we have our these are our sales and total sales and total costs. That would be fixed costs, variable costs, whatever costs that we're representing. These are the dollar amounts. These are also in thousands, so 50,000, 100,000, etc. Okay, so we're going to make a sales line, and that is we're going to take one value, 500,000 in sales, divided by the $50 selling price is 10,000 units. Okay, so we would be having the 500,000 sales, and that means that we're selling 10,000 units. So that's going to give us a dot at the very top right corner of our graph. If I sell 0 units, I'll have $0 and 0 units, so that's at 0, 0, okay? And so that's the second point, and I can draw a line between my 2 points to represent sales. Okay? Now we're going to take a look at a line for fixed costs. Fixed costs is a straight 100,000. We said on the previous slide. So 100,000 straight across. No matter how many units we sell or don't sell, we have to come up with this 100,000, like for rent and stuff like that. So here's our $100,000, and it's just going to go straight across. Okay, that's our green line, our fixed cost line. Okay. So, we're going to take a look at cost line. So, 10,000 units times $30, that's our variable cost per unit. So, our total variable cost is 10,000 units times $30. That's 300,000. And then if I add my 100,000 fixed costs, I'd have 300,000 variable costs and 100,000 fixed costs. That's a total of $400,000 of costs if I have 10,000 units that I sell. Okay? So I go across from the 400,000 and up from the 10,000 units, and that's my starting point for my total costs. Now, my beginning point for total costs is basically the total fixed costs, okay? Because even if I have 0 units, it's going to cost me at least $100,000 worth of the fixed cost. So that's the beginning, not the 0, 0 like the sales was, but the 100,000. So here is my total cost line. Goes from 100,000 if I sell 0 to $400,000 of cost if I sell 10,000 units. Okay. The break-even point is going to be where my total sales equals my total costs. So if I have the total sales minus the total cost is 0, that's right where these two lines are crisscrossing. And so then I can go from that point right here down and see that roughly 5,000 units would need to be sold for me to break even. Okay, or I would have to sell $250,000 worth or 5,000 units worth to end up breaking even. So you can use this graph method to come up with your answers. It's just that your graph has to be real exacting if you want a real exact number. If you want a ballpark number, and a lot of times management is working with ballparks, and you can whip out a graph like this fairly quickly, and sometimes that's even easier to come up with a ballpark that you need to sell 5,000 units to break even in this case. Now, everything above that break even, okay, remember this top line is our sales line, and this bottom red line is our cost line. So every time you have more sales than what you have total costs, all of that extra is profit. And the more units we have that we're selling, the higher amount of profit we have. So all this shaded area is profit, and it gets larger. We have more and more profit the more units we sell after we break even. Our loss area means here's my total cost line is this top red line. My sales line is the bottom blue line. So now my costs are more than my revenue, and therefore that's producing a loss. And the lesser units I have sold below the break-even point means the more loss that I have.